What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jay. In this video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be giving you a top 20 list of songs that most influenced my youth. And by youth, I'm using that term loosely to mean anything around the age of 20 or earlier, okay? So this list is in no particular order. However, the first 3 songs in the list are actually my top 3 favorite songs of all time. Always were, always will be. So let's just get right into it with number 1, which of course is Stairway to Heaven. I've mentioned this in other videos, and yes, I know it sounds like a cliche, but listen, when I was around 8 or 9 years old and listening to music, listening to the radio, whatever my parents would be playing, this was the first song that I consciously thought to myself, you know what, that's my favorite song. I love how it sounds. I know nothing about the band or the type of music it is. I don't understand the lyrics. All I know is it just sounded really cool. And ever since that day, this has been my favorite song of all time, always will be. In fact, I even want to have it played at my funeral. I love it that much, which isn't to say that I think I'm going to heaven. I just love the song. It speaks to me that deeply. Yeah, so Stairway to Heaven was on Led Zeppelin's 4th album. So it took them to 4 albums before they wrote the most famous and influential song in rock and roll history. It's a great album. A little side note about this album, too, is there is no title. It's titleless, kind of like the Black Album or the Beatles' White Album. Jimmy Page was adamant about making sure that there was no text on this album jacket anywhere. There's no title, there's no band name, nothing. However, Led Zeppelin's song, Stairway to Heaven, is by far the most requested song in radio history. And yes, when I was a kid back in the 70s and 80s, when you wanted to hear a song, you couldn't open an app. You had to actually call your favorite radio station, talk to a DJ on the phone, and request them to play that song and hope that they would play it within the next couple of hours. That's how we listened to music back then. Stairway to Heaven is well known for being the most requested song of all time. It's been on many top 10, top 100 lists over the decades. And, with good reason. It's an amazing song. It's a very long track. I think it's exactly 8 minutes long on the recording. And, the inspiration for the song is like nobody really knows. There's a lot of mysticism. There's a lot of theories about what actually happened, how this song came to be. It's almost as if God reached down from the heavens and just gave this song to Led Zeppelin and say, here, present this to the world. I mean, I've read Hammer of the Gods, which is the biography of Led Zeppelin, but there's a lot of other good reads on the band and on this song in particular. And over the course of the years, the band members have said different things about how this song came to be, how it was written. At one point, Robert Plant claimed that he wrote all the lyrics in 10 minutes at a campfire at this castle they were staying at when they recorded this album. So, no one really knows. Some people even used to theorize that Led Zeppelin had sold their souls to the devil in a Faustian pact to become this famous and to have such a perfect song. It's just, there's a lot of, mysticism behind this whole thing. And I knew none of that when I was 8 years old. I just knew that the song sounded amazing, and it still does. I never will get sick of it. Okay, I won't go on such a long rant with all the following songs, but that one required a little extra explanations. Okay, so the next song on my list is from a band that I'm not really a big fan of at all. Like, I really don't care for any of their music, except for this song, which is my second favorite song of all time, and that is Aerosmith's Dream On. Now, I know, don't hate. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love Aerosmith. They're a fine band. They're just not for me. For whatever reason, I never really just got into them too much. And it's kind of weird because there are a few bands like that millions of people love that I'm just not a big fan of. Like, AC/DC, I'm sorry to say, Kiss, I'm not a fan. I mean, I respect the musicianship. I respect the staying power that they've had to last throughout the decades and continue to put out music. Just not a big fan. But okay. Anyways, that all aside, Dream On is, to me, the sentiment is much like in Stairway. It's kind of like, it's never too late to change the path you're on. You can continue to dream on, to dream the reality that you want to have. I think this is kind of like, for 1973 when this song came out, it's kind of like that era's concept of manifestation. What we say today is, manifest your destiny, manifest the life you want to lead, and all good things will come to you. Whatever, The Secret, all that stuff, right? But back then, it was just a song, it was the music, and it spoke to that generation. In 1973, I was 1 year old. So when this song came out, it was, I was already alive, I was listening to it, and it just sank into my cerebrum and just became one of my favorite songs ever. I love it. Okay, next up on the list is, how do I put this? This song is from one of the original guitar gods, okay? Now, that term has been thrown around a lot over the years. It's been used a lot in specifically guitar magazines over the course of the decades. And now in 2026, we can probably look back and say, there's dozens and dozens of guitar players out there that we all know and love that would be considered guitar gods. However, there really are only two, and there's no other answer. I'm telling you the truth. There's really only two people ever to exist that I would truly consider guitar gods, legendary god tier. And even if you were to ask Steve Vai today, who I consider to be the preeminent best guitar player alive on the planet today, if you were to ask Steve Vai who the guitar god is, he's going to give you one of two answers, and they're both correct. It's either going to be Eddie Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix. Now, Jimmy was the original, right? He was the original sent from heaven guitar god. If ever there was one, it's him. But what's funny about this particular song, and I love his entire catalog, he's ridiculous. All his music is great. You should listen to it. If you don't, you're stupid. Yeah, it's just like that. This song, however, is not even his song. It's a cover. Do you know what it is yet? Maybe you do. It's All Along the Watchtower. This song came out in October 1968, and this was on Electric Ladyland, that double album, double CD, whatever. Yeah, it's one of the best songs ever, and it's like 2.5 minutes long. It's really short, but when you hear those first 6 chords, dun, 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 when you hear those first 6 chords, you know some shit's about to go down. Now, this song has been used in God only knows how many soundtracks to how many movies, and for good reason. It's so powerful. It's so gravitating. It pulls you into the moment. It's just, there aren't words to explain how incredible this song is. And what's funny is, those of you that didn't know it's a cover probably never heard the original, which is by Bob Dylan, of all people, right? If you've ever heard the original Bob Dylan song, it's meh. It's okay. It's very folksy. It's very Bob Dylan-esque. It's just kind of like, he's all right. It's not bad. But I mean, who would have thought? Like, how did Jimi Hendrix get the inspiration to take just a random song from Bob Dylan, of all people, and to turn it into what he turned it into? I mean, let's be honest. I'm generalizing here, but most of the time, any cover song that's ever recorded by any band ever is never quite as good as the original. And why is that? Because the original is what had that inspirational spark. The original had that X factor that made it such a good song that other people wanted to cover it, right? So in most cases, I would say 99% of the time, cover songs might be really good. The production might be better, whatever. They're never really as good as the original. In this case, with All Along the Watchtower, this is like 100 times better. And I'm not exaggerating. And for you younger folks out there, you younger guys out there who may never have heard this song before, listen, this is a top 20 list. There are just a couple of songs on here that I require you to listen to at least once because they will blow your fucking mind. And this is one of them, All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. Do not pass it up. You got to listen to it. Okay, next song up, number 4. And again, these are in no particular order. This song is a couple decades later. This came out in November 1984. This is, of course, the song Shout by Tears for Fears. I know it's new wave, it's poppy, maybe it was a little sappy to some people. Listen, in 1984, I was a young teenager coming into my own. The world is your oyster. Everything is possible. Hormones are running. You're starting to feel feelings. You see the cute girl in the class and you want to dress up nice and comb your hair and make sure you look good when you go to school. It's kind of like that vibe, right? But this song really was an anthem to a generation. I mean, the opening lyrics, shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. I mean, it's just simple, but so powerful. When you listen to this song, if you haven't heard it before, it's going to speak to you too. I really think it will. I mean, I think that for every year, or at least for every decade, there's a couple of songs that just speak to a generation. And I think this was really that generation. The 80s movies, the 80s music, this was top tier for that era, right in the middle of the 80s. Shout, Tears for Fears. Check it out if you never heard it before. All right, so some of you guys who might be as old as I am, and I'm in my mid-50s, you might remember this song. Maybe if you're a little bit younger, you never heard it before. This is a Beatles song, and listen, what list ever would be considered complete without a Beatles song, at least one represented on that list, because they were just preeminent as far as like transforming modern music, pop music, rock, whatever they did, all different genre bending stuff that they did. They were one of the originators who really started branching out into different genres, genre blending and all that stuff. And they have to be talked about in any list. This song is one of their more trippy, psychedelic songs. Well, it's very psychedelic, actually. And this song is off of the album Revolver, which I actually have right here. It is the song Tomorrow Never Knows. If you've never heard this song, it's also a very short song. It's maybe 2 minutes long or so. But the production level, the layers that are inside the song is just very awash with hallucinogenic, trippy sounds. And it's just beautiful. I mean, it's like a wild ride. I wish the song was 20 minutes long. It's like 2 or 3 minutes long at best. And it's just incredible. Now, this song was also covered by, in the 90s, I believe. This was a pretty good cover was done by Susie and the Banshees. That sounds great too. Maybe you heard that version. But the original, 1966, okay, 50 years ago. Listen to this song. Listen to how trippy and psychedelic it sounds. And back then, in the 60s, when the real hippies were coming up, not the hippies that you have today that go to Grateful Dead concerts. That's a whole different concept completely. The original hippies, the originators standing on the corner of Haight-Ashbury in the mid-60s, Summer of Love, 1967, all that stuff. They were listening to this music, and this is the music that spoke to them most. Tomorrow Never Knows, simple concept, exactly what the title says. You never know. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Carpe diem, seize the day, live for today, smell the roses, go outside after you watch this video, look up in the sky for a couple seconds, take a deep breath of fresh air, and remember that you are alive and you are well. And this song should be a part of that. This should be the soundtrack to your life. Like, this song is incredible. Next up is from the band Pink Floyd. I love Pink Floyd. I have all of their stuff. I've got their box set. Pink Floyd was one of the originators, I would say, of progressive rock. Long before Queensryche, Dream Theater, Periphery, it all kind of evolved over time. But I think it started with bands like Pink Floyd, Yes, Rush, Steely Dan, and a bunch of others, a handful of others that were kind of doing the progressive thing. Again, mixing genres, experimental music, but it landed, it hit. And audiences loved it. Pink Floyd did a ton of albums. I think they've got, I forget, 8 or 10 albums, something like that. One of my favorite songs by them is off of Dark Side of the Moon, and that is Time. So you're probably seeing a pattern here. All of these songs are kind of like melancholy ballads about life and the world. They have a lot of depth to them. Unlike a lot of music today, I'm sorry to say, Taylor Swift and all that kind of crap. It's very shallow, bubblegum pop. And yes, it sells, and the little kids like it when they jump on the bed singing into their brush, pretending to be a microphone. Okay, this was real music, okay? This was speaking to the people, the counterculture. This was speaking about life itself, right? How fragile it is, how short it is, time, how little of it we have, how life is finite, and we should enjoy our lives with what little time we have. This song is very famous for the intro, which sounds like it's inside of a clock repair shop, all those clocks ticking away, and then they all kind of chime and ding at once, and then the song starts. It's a beautiful track. I love the lyrics. It's wonderful. That came out in February 1974. I was 1 year old at that time, but I love that song to this day. And again, for you younger fellows out there that maybe have never listened to Pink Floyd or just never heard this song before, give it a listen. It's worthwhile. Again, there's only a few songs on this list that I would require that you have to listen to at least once. That's probably one of them. Next up, all right, let's get into it. More classic rock. This is from the Rolling Stones. Why did all the greatest music in the world come from Great Britain, England in the 60s? I don't know, but it did. I love the US, I love my country, but let's face it, most of the greatest music of the 60s and early 70s came from overseas. Rolling Stones, Gimme Shelter. This song has been also featured on many different soundtracks to many movies. I think it's in some of the mob movies. It might either be in like Casino or Goodfellas. I'm not really sure. It's in like most of the Vietnam War movies. As well, it should be because it's so powerful. And the lyrics are so simple. They have just 3 or 4 different lines that are repeated over and over throughout the song. Just a couple of different phrases. But basically it's saying, love is just a kiss away. Murder is just a shot away. It's so simple. Again, it's the path you want to choose in life. So these songs influenced me not just because of the musicality, not just because they were catchy and I like to sing along to them, but because of what they were saying, that deep meaning that they have, that deep meaning that is usually missing in a lot of modern music. I'll be honest with you guys. I love modern metal, modern progressive metal, metalcore, all that stuff. I love listening to it. It hits hard. You can bang your head to it. I love playing it on the guitar. But if I'm being honest, the lyrics are usually not very deep. Back then, they were putting depth of emotion and thought and spirituality into their songs, into their lyrics. And this is one of those songs that's just so powerful. Now, I saw them do a live version of this at one of the music award shows, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. And Fergie was singing the female parts in that version. Also killer. Sounds great if you want to check that out. I'm sure it's on YouTube. But the original song had this lady who, the notes she hits, it's just ridiculous. It's Gimme Shelter, Rolling Stones. Now, the Stones are incredible. They were a solid S tier rock band, classic rock, call them what you will. So I have another song for them, Sympathy for the Devil. This song came out exactly a year later, plus a day. Excuse me, it was a year earlier, December 68. Gimme Shelter was December 69. So a year earlier, Sympathy for the Devil came out. And this song is also great. I mean, you probably know it by the woo, woo. You know, they repeat that over and over during the final solo and all the final outro of the song. This song is great. I mean, this is the devil in first person narrating anecdotally about who he is and what he's done. What? Brilliant. I mean, the theme with this is I'm the devil you know, I'm the one you need to look out for, but you've seen my work. Like, that's what this song is saying. But not only is it the depth of the lyrics, the guitar playing is incredible. What's funny is the solo that Keith Richards does, his guitar tone is terrible. It's awful. It's just like if you just plugged in your guitar in today and cranked up the treble and turned down the bass and that's it. That's basically what it sounded like. It was garbage. But still the song is incredible. Still the solo is amazing. All the parts together just make this, it's a masterpiece. So listen to Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. It's amazing. Next up on the list, I've got a song from The Doors. We got to keep The Doors. You know, we got to represent The Doors, guys. They are great. You love them. I think of The Doors kind of like your average American garage band gone right. Kind of everything they did just worked out. 4 guys in a garage in California got together, started to write some music. You know, Jim Morrison was writing poetry. If you've seen the movie, you know the backstory. It just all fit. They were just greater than the sum of their parts. I mean, they were okay musicians. Ray Manzarek on the keyboards and that keyboard bass thing that they played because they didn't have a real bassist. They just sounded amazing. And you vibed with it because the songs were catchy. They were smooth, well produced. The lyrics were incredible. And again, this is another group that spoke to all of the counterculture generation of the time. So yeah, Riders on the Storm is one of my favorite songs by The Doors. There's a bunch of others. I love their whole catalog too. I mean, if you want to compare, let's talk about some other songs. You've got LA Woman, you've got The End, you've got, I don't know, just a ton of songs. I can't think of the titles right now, but The Doors are incredible. Now, Jim Morrison, interestingly, he died the following month in Paris. So this was the last song that The Doors recorded together. Riders on the Storm, June 1971. Sick. This is the song that has that rain in the intro, that soft summer rain you can hear at the beginning of the song. Really clever, you know, probably one of the first ones to do that sort of effect with great effect. It just sounded incredible. The Val Kilmer movie, The Doors, is also really cool too. So if you want to just catch up on like what they were all about and hear some of their music, check out that movie. Next up on the list, this one's a little weird. I'm jumping ahead to 1983. So April of 1983, David Bowie, Let's Dance. Okay, so in the early 80s, my parents were still kind of into the record collecting thing. They were going to the record shop frequently because that's what you did when you wanted to get the newest albums that were out. You went to the record store, you bought the album, you took it home, you opened it up, you read the liner notes, you put it on the record player, and you listened to it, and you enjoyed it. It was a full experience, you know, when you were listening to music, unlike today where you open an app on your phone, you press a button, and if you don't like the song, you swipe to the next one. Now, back then, you still enjoyed the full experience of listening to music. And you did so in your home, on your stereo, or with headphones, good quality audiophile style headphones, so you could really experience the music the way it was intended, the way the musicians presented it. So Let's Dance, David Bowie. he's an enigma. He's kind of like his own thing. He was a master craftsman of songwriting, and you can't pigeonhole him into any one genre, I would say. He's another one of those guys just out on his own, just his own thing. But he had so much great music. And the album Let's Dance had a bunch of hits on it. And in fact, I believe Stevie Ray Vaughan played some of the solos on some of those songs. So, little known fact, I don't even know if he's listed as one of the contributors on the album, but that's a true story. So anyways, Let's Dance is really groovy. It has that smooth dance vibe to it. And just so you guys know, all the songs on this list here, they're from all different genres. They're not all just rock music. I know I mostly talk about metal music on this channel. However, I listen to all genres. Like, you can't pigeonhole what I like. It's just all across the board. And that's one of those. That's a for instance right there. David Bowie, awesome. All right, let's go back to 1969, September specifically of 1969. At that point, the U.S. was kind of like our high point of our involvement in the Vietnam War or Vietnam conflict. It was never actually a declared war. If you didn't know, it's actually called the Vietnam conflict. It's the war where we won every battle, but we lost the war, if you're familiar with it. Anyways, 1969 was the high point where we had the most boys overseas in Vietnam, in a jungle, fighting for God knows what. Well, to stop the domino effect of communism from spreading. That's what they told us anyhow. Anyhow, in 1969, a great album came out by none other than Crosby, Stills and Nash, CSN. And this album let's see, you've got actually Neil Young on the back there, peering through the window in the door. He's not on this album, but many of the Crosby, Stills and Nash albums include Neil Young. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it was just Stills and Nash. They all went on to do, obviously, their own solo works as well. Great musicians. David Crosby was a bit of a grump. He's one of those kind of nasty, grumpy people before he died, kind of like a Van Morrison type. Just never wants to talk to anybody. He's just kind of rude. He's an artist, but then he's an asshole. I don't care about his personal life. Their music was incredible. So many great songs by these guys. If I had to choose just one, though, that really influenced my childhood that I remember most, why is my nose so itchy? I don't know. I would have to say Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. Again, 1969. It's a beautiful track. That whole album is just beautiful stuff. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's folksy. It's pop music. It's soft rock. It's not soft. It's so deep that it's hard to call this stuff soft rock. I mean, by today's standard, yes, it would be considered soft rock. It would be office, AOR type music that you would hear in any office. But Sweet Judy Blue Eyes is a beautiful song. The lyrics are so beautiful. It's another one of those songs where the arrangement takes you on a ride to different places. It changes up, and kind of like Wooden Ships, kind of like another beautiful song by them is Guinevere. But yeah, if I had to pick just one, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, it's great. Okay, the next song here is another one of the first songs I remember hearing as a young kid. And at that time, I was too young to say, it's my favorite song or I like it or don't. I was probably, it's December 75. So I was 3 years old when this song came out, but I remember hearing it on the radio because my mother would be playing the radio all day while Dad was at work. This song is called All By Myself, and it's by Eric Carmen. Now, if you're familiar with the song All By Myself, you're probably thinking of the Celine Dion song. You may actually think it's a Celine Dion original. It's not. She actually did a remake of the original, which came out in 75. Her version is phenomenal. Of course, she can sing she can sing the alphabet and it would just sound incredible. But when you hear Carmen sing this song, it just yanks tears out of you. It's like, if you're somebody who likes really sad music on occasion, or you went through some kind of a loss or a bad breakup and you're missing somebody, you're listening to sad songs, right? We've all done it. When I was a teenager, I did it too. Like it was Pearl Jam's Black, stuff like that. But yeah, All By Myself. And what's really funny about this song too, I find it funny and interesting, is that Rick Beato did an expose where he talked about this song in a video a few years back. And the title or the thumbnail said something to the effect of, it's the most oddly arranged or most creative arrangement of a pop song of all time. And before I clicked on the video, I had guessed that it was this song. And I was right. I was like, I almost fell backwards thinking to myself, him and me are just very similar in musical taste. And I just thought that was really, really cool. It's a beautiful song. It's very sad. It has a lot of changes to it. And apparently parts of the song, Carmen was influenced by Rachmaninoff, one of his piano concertos. And so he kind of utilized some of the arrangement from that song in this one. So, there was a little bit of a contention as far as like copyright issues, but I think he worked it out with the estate of Rachmaninoff years later. I don't know the details really. All I know is it's a great, beautiful, sad, very sad song. In fact, to me, it's one of the saddest songs of all time. So if you're into that kind of thing, if that's your thing, check it out. It's a good one. Next up is the Beatles. Once again, because they have to occupy at least two spaces. It's the Beatles, right? This song usually comes in as number one or number two every year on any top 100, top 50, top whatever Beatles list. So if you ever listen to one of those lists on the radio or on Sirius XM radio, once or twice a year, they'll do like a top 100 Beatles songs where, the listeners call in and vote or whatever, go online and vote. It's usually number one, right? So you probably already know what it is. It's A Day in the Life. This song is beautiful. Another one of these songs where like the arrangement just goes from one thing to another to another. And then of course at the end of the song, you hear that orchestra that's they're all tuning their instruments. So it's like a cacophony of sounds, but it's building, getting louder. Like there's this crescendo going on. And then it finally culminates with just that one piano chord. Dun, dun. And it's just an incredible song. I love it. I love the Beatles. Everything they do is great. But A Day in the Life is really, it's their best song. And it's actually my favorite song by the Beatles. So that's kind of cool. Next up, we've got a song by Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac was another group in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And even till today, they're still doing music and they still have staying power because they're that good. This song I really like a lot. And it became very famous from that fellow that was riding a skateboard, drinking his, his cranberry juice. The song, of course, is Dreams. And it's a beautiful song. It's just very smooth and like, they had this funky way about the music and the bass lines. It was just very smooth and relaxing and melodic. And this is one of those songs. I love Fleetwood Mac. I mean, I could listen to The Chain. I could listen to Gypsy, Rhiannon. All those songs are great, but Dreams is probably one of the most influential songs to me. It was on the radio a lot, I'll have to say, during the 80s. So the next song on my list is from The Police, and it is Don't Stand So Close to Me. Now, it's not the original version. It's the 1986 version, which I love. This song isn't very PC by today's standards. The lyrics are a little cringy and strange, and I'm not really sure why they wrote the song, but it's a beautiful track. And if you kind of disregard the meaning of the lyrics, it's just a beautiful song. There's a lot of synthesizer in the 86 version. The original version was kind of more in line with their standard kind of like reggae vibe where they kind of, you're accenting on the upstroke of a beat. But the 86 version is way, way better. It's just more eerie. It's more melodic. It's prettier. It's more synthesizers and less jumpy, kind of like reggae vibe. I love this song. Again, it probably doesn't get a lot of play anymore, except on, satellite radio because the lyrics are a little strange. And by today's standards, I think that it's not really a good topic. I don't know. Whatever. Great song, weird lyrics. Next up, I've got a song by U2. U2 was very prevalent throughout my teenage years. They had a lot of great albums back then. My favorite album from them is actually the one that they recorded live at the Red Rocks, which is Under a Blood Red Sky. The songs on there are great. Those versions of the songs I think are better than the originals, just my opinion. And my favorite song from that album is 11 O'Clock Tick Tock. It's just a really dancey kind of like weird song about like, I don't know, relationships, teenage relationships in the 80s, whatever. It's a vibe. They kind of transcended out of like new wave and punk and, they just became their own thing too. I love U2. They're great. Next up after that, of course, the master himself, the king of pop, you guessed it, Michael Jackson, Thriller. This album technically came out November 29th, 1982. However, because it came out so late in the year, I've always considered it a 1983 album. Maybe that's when I first bought the cassette tape. Yes, cassette tape. I got the cassette first. Actually bought the cassette twice before I actually got the album because I wore out the first one. Because when you listen to a cassette tape, you have to keep pressing rewind if you want to hear your song, and eventually just wears the tape out. So, So 1982. I'm 10 years old. This album comes out. Boom, mind blown. We're like, what? Immediately becomes the king of pop. Every single song on this album became a single, and I think every single song has a video for it as well. If you don't know what a video is, kids, MTV, music television, used to actually play music videos to all the popular songs of the day. MTV first came online in 1981. This is like a year and a half, not even, just a year later. This album comes out. MTV blows up, of course, because this album is incredible. Quincy Jones produced it, and it's by far got to be Michael Jackson's best album ever, right? I mean, despite the fact his personal life was pretty bizarre, and I don't really want to get into it, I can't speak to that. His music was incredible. This album was sick. Two songs stand out for me as kind of my favorites that I heard a lot and played a lot. First of all, my favorite song from Thriller isn't actually the title track. It's actually Wanna Be Starting Something. It's so dancey. It's so incredible, man. I mean, if you play it today, you're going to be tapping your toes, or you're going to want to jump up and dance to this thing because it just sounds that cool. And then, of course, you got to throw Thriller on there too because it's incredible. That song had a 20-minute video. A 20-minute video back then was like unheard of, right? Because everyone else was doing just the video length. The video length would be the same length as their song pretty much, so anywhere from 2.5 to 5 minutes long. Michael Jackson comes out with a 20-minute cinematic movie, essentially, a short story to go along, to coincide with the song Thriller. It's awesome. If you young kids have never seen it, you got to look it up on YouTube, man. It's so cool. Thriller, great album. Those two songs stand out the most to me. Next up is another 80s song, very poppy sounding, very kind of like of the moment, and maybe you've never even heard it before. That is Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar. This song was really influential to me, again, because it was just so catchy. She was rock. She was, punk in her way, right? I mean, it was pop music, it was dance, but in her own way, she was like, the makeup, the look of her, it was just very like Cyndi Lauper-esque. It was very just like pop and just hard hitting. And Love is a Battlefield was just a beautiful song about love is a battlefield. Sometimes it is, we all know that. We've all been there, right? So that came out in September of 83. So again, the 80s was really my formative years as far as music is concerned. My early teen years was the 80s. And there was so much good music back then. And there's no right or wrong generation. Everyone's going to love the music that they grew up with, no matter what your age is. So if you're somebody who's, 17, 20 years old watching this video, you're going to like music that's more current, that's newer. If you're 67 years old, you're going to like stuff that's older. Maybe you love Elvis or Roy Orbison or, whatever, older stuff. There's no wrong answer. We're all going to like what influenced us the most during our childhood years. And for me, it just happened to be the 80s, which is a lot of cool dance shit came out back then, man. A lot of great pop music, a lot of great movies too. 80s movies are so much fun to watch. Anyways, going back to the rock genre now, the next song on my list is from Van Halen. Got to count them in because, like I said earlier, Eddie Van Halen, guitar god, the best in the world, Panama, right? From the album 1984. I went to summer camp in 1984. I went to a sleepaway camp where I was, there for like a 2-week session. And some of the kids there, some of the cool kids, had brought like these boom boxes that played 8-track tapes of all things. And somebody had the 8-track to 1984, and they were just playing it over and over. And I fell in love with that whole album. But Panama, of course, is one of the seminal songs off of that album. Well, what am I saying? Every song on that album is ridiculous, right? Hot for Teacher, Jump, I mean, whatever. They're all great. But yeah, Panama, it was those teenage years. The hormones are going, you're getting those feelings, you like the girls. You're finding the girls to be really cute and you want to be cool in front of them. And this song just kind of coincided for me with those years. So Panama, awesome. Next up is another 80s staple. This artist is an 80s staple, I would say, and the 90s as well. That is Phil Collins. This song is off of his album No Jacket Required, which I'm sure you know the album well. It's that black cover with his face just up close on it. And the song I like the most from that is Don't Lose My Number. This came out in July of 1985. Right in the middle of the 80s, that whole album was great. Again, my parents had bought this album. They were playing it at home a lot. I didn't own this album, but I'd borrow their records and take them into my room and play them on my record player when I really liked them. And this was one of those songs that just, da-da-dun, dun, 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 dun. I mean, that riff is still amazing today. It's simple, but it just works. Okay, another song. This, again, another 80s song. Sorry, guys, if it's not your thing, I get it. Listen, I understand. This is a song that some people kind of poo-poo. They're kind of like, it's just slop. It's just 80s trash, whatever. I don't feel that way. For me, this song really speaks to me, and so does the music video. It's the song Boys of Summer by Don Henley. If you don't know who Don Henley is, you have issues, okay? Don Henley was part of the Eagles. He also had a very successful solo career, and this song is off the album Building the Perfect Beast, which came out in January 1984. Boys of Summer, it's just, certain songs speak to you, right? Just, they make you feel something inside, like spiritually, like next level. It's not just like, oh, I like that track, let's listen to it again. No, it's like it hits you on another level. It just talks to you about how life was when you were young, how love was when you first found true love, the summertime, you're at the beach. Again, you see the cute girl. If you're a girl, you see the cute guy over there. You want to talk to him. You're nervous, Boys of Summer. It's just a beautiful, beautiful song. I love it. Okay, we've gone over 20, by the way. I'm just getting so excited. I had to add a few extra songs to the list. One more song for you guys, and then I'm out of here, is from a band that, again, I don't really listen to. And by today's standard, they're considered yacht rock. But when they first came out, there was no such classification, but we call it yacht rock now. Very jazzy inspired, very fusion inspired. That's Steely Dan. And the only song I like by Steely Dan, I'm sorry to say, is the song Do It Again. It's funky. It's like white boy funk. It's so smooth. It's ridiculous. It's like, listen to the song Do It Again. This came out in November of 1972, so I was just a few months old when this came out, so I don't remember it at that time. But like I said, in my childhood, my youthful years, this song seemed to be on the radio a lot. It was probably Steely Dan's most popular song, which is why it was played on pop radio, whereas, only a couple of their other songs are ever played on pop radio because most of it is a little more experimental. Like I said, a little bit fusion-y, jazzy. They're not really my vibe necessarily, but this song, man, it just stands out as one of the funky. I have to turn this song up every time I hear it. This list, I could go on and on, guys. I could do so many more songs, and it's been a blast talking about these, and I hope you stuck around to the end of it. Now, I have one small ask for you. If you can, please leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite song is, or your favorite group, or your favorite artist, or your favorite album of all time. But most importantly, I really want to hear what is your favorite song of all time. If you have one, if you've ever thought about it, which I have since I was in high school, I've been thinking about what are my favorite songs. And, Stairway to Heaven was always number one. But let me know what you guys think. I might do some more lists like this in the future. Depends. YouTube tends to shadow ban me whenever I do something that's not exactly in my genre of videos, which is generally guitar reviews. So when I do something different, it usually falls flat on its face. I'll be lucky if I get 17 views on this video, but I don't care. It's my channel. I'm going to do what I want to do. I enjoyed this really, sharing this stuff, intimate stuff that's personal to me. I enjoyed sharing it with you, sharing it with the world, and I'd love to hear what your experiences are with some of these songs if you enjoy them as well, or maybe you hate them and there's a reason why you hate them. I don't know. Leave a comment down below, and if I get enough responses, maybe I'll even do a list of my viewers' favorite songs. That might be really cool too, because then I can hear from you. Give me a reason why it's your favorite song, and I'll add that in too. So we'll consider that going forward. If there's enough interest, I will do a series of these videos where I do kind of top 10, top 20 lists of, like I said, different albums, different decades, different genres. We'll just mix it up. But, even my favorite rap songs. I used to listen to rap all through high school, gangster rap, oddly, techno music, whatever. I'm into all of it, guys. So nothing is off the table. Anything's fair game as far as music is concerned, as well as it should be. Because if you're a creative like me, you enjoy music. It doesn't matter what genre it is. I don't need to label it to enjoy it. And I don't care if my friends are listening to it or not. If something touches me personally, hits me on another level, I'm going to listen to it. And that's just the way it is. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I love you all. Please make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. If you have not done so, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. Hit the like button too if you enjoyed this video. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. I'm out of here. See ya!